Hey, okay, we're back. So this is article number 7. Yeah. And this is in the summer edition of the paper. So, that one I should have mentioned. The other one was from like May 2nd, May 16th. So, it was within May 2016. This one is the summer edition, so it was like the end of May. Okay. It is called Responsibilities by Raquel Lyons. Trigger warning. Explicit mention of death, suicide, and self-harm. I will include a trigger warning at the beginning of this video, so you know. Values. We all have them. Our values are the flashlights that guide us through life. Our goals are the accomplishable tasks that derive from our values. When we act against our values, we may experience negative feelings such as guilt, shame, confusion, or anger. Going against our values may lead to us questioning just who exactly we are. Let's discuss this in depth, shall we? If you recall from my previous articles, identity is comprised of the characteristics that make up who we are, such as our favorite colors, patterns, movies, and adjectives that describe us. You may also recall that I discussed the differences between a lapse and a relapse in the process of recovery from a mental health condition. A lapse is more of a slip-up or a mistake, while a relapse is a more long-standing backwards reeling. Both are a part of the recovery process, which is not linear, but jagged with ups and downs. My hamster's out. All of these forces join together to fit into this new article that you're reading in this moment. I haven't set aside time to review what I value in a long time, but by setting time aside right now, I know that I value my life, my artwork, my creativity, my openness, and my honesty. I know it's important for me to share my voice about my mental health experiences. Maybe it'll help someone out there who is struggling. Maybe it shines with my recovery voice. Maybe it's just interesting to read. Whatever the impact my speaking out may be making, small or large, I am flattered, honored, and grateful. It's only been just this year that I've spontaneously become a mental health advocate. I could not have anticipated that heading back to school this semester would equate to me writing for the mass media, joining the presentations that the National Alliance on Mental Illness, or NAMI, has, or that I may be volunteering at a crisis hotline in a few months. I've taken up more opportunities around me this semester than I ever have in any other time of my life. For instance, as a kindergartner, I was held back a year because I never spoke up. I was always a quiet kid growing up, keeping my nose in fiction books and having friends to hang out with. I dealt with the scoliosis by not dealing with it. I hid in shame from my own body as my spine shifted and moved in a different direction. I felt powerless and guilty for the 3 years I went against my treatment plan of wearing a back brace. I was closed off, and I didn't want people getting close to me. That Raquel is just a shadow of the past. Today's Raquel is a lighthouse of power and strength. But it's not always easy. It's not always cheery either. Going through the self-harm and suicide obsessions of the OCD that I deal with and the secondary depression that joined the party is no walk in the park. Some days are harder than others. I haven't always acted in my best interests. I'm still human and I slip up. In April 2016, I lapsed in scratching myself when I was feeling ill from the stomach flu. In May 2016, I lapsed in self-harm by abusing an old medication of mine. If I had found the medication I had in my mind, or OCD's mind rather, it would have marked my 3rd suicide attempt. Because of the OCD, I deal a lot with glorification of suicide and self-harm. It lies to me, telling me how much better I'll feel when I'm drowning, how it's my destiny to die by suicide, and that everything would be better if I were just dead. OCD presents suicide in this flashy, pretty dress that looks appealing and attractive and not at all like the devastating act that it is. This cycle has brought out what my therapist has recently dubbed resentful Raquel. Resentful Raquel is all about engaging in negative coping strategies, overriding the core self's true values, asking permission from the core self to die by suicide, enjoying negative power and attention, and reminding me how I should have killed myself when I had the chance to. I've been missing Resentful Raquel for a while this year, so much so that I lapsed in my recovery this month. This was until I realized that I actually missed Responsible Raquel, who is pretty darn awesome. And Responsible Raquel is that part of me that's getting involved with NAMI, writing articles for the mass media, and being honest and open. It wouldn't be in line with my values of honesty to lie to my parents, friends, therapist, any other person I randomly encounter about the state of my mental health for an extended period of time. I make it a point to be honest when people ask how I'm doing. Does this always mean I spill my truths? No, because sometimes I don't want to, and that's okay. Does this mean I tell people right away when I've slipped up? No, yet I do eventually. Writing these articles has shown to be more impactful and helpful than I ever imagined it to be. It's good for me to share my story and for me to keep in mind the advice that I am suggesting. I look now toward my bookshelf filled with House MD DVDs, books for fun, coloring books, and the therapy folders filled with packets of information that I've gathered from hospital stays. There's another shelf with paints and more books, and one book about living in the present moment. I carry with me tons of art supplies from paints the start of May to markers and pens and gel pens. I carry with me a bouncy ball with glitter inside of it, bubble wrap, coloring books, books to read, all things I can turn to cope positively if the moment so suddenly appears before me. It's likely that the OCD won't be such a focal point in my life for the future, but I believe that recovery and positive coping strategies in my responsible self will be, and I'm absolutely okay with that. Responsible Raquel acts in line with her values, shares her voice, and totally plans to paint her own front door one day. After all, if I can't change the glorifying filter, I can at least change what scene lies beyond it. Stay safe, everyone. So that is the final article in spring 2016. I think I will make a little video about what I thought about that. So we'll have 3 videos, and it'll be exciting. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I hope the lighting was okay in this video, and I'll work on being a little bit slower as I read. Hopefully my voice is loud enough. I think it is. And I'll work on looking up more as well. So yeah.